to that. There are 3 things that are never satisfied. Yes, 4 things say not it is enough. They don't say it. 4 things in the earth that never says it's enough. Because there is a thirst in the earth. There's a thirst in the earth. There's a craving for what heaven has in the earth. And verse 16 of Proverbs 30, he says, number 1, the grave. The grave will never say it's enough. Grave will constantly take the dead. It'll constantly consume and, consume, eat, take in the dead. The grave will never say it is enough. Number 2, the barren womb. The womb that has never, ever been pregnant to give birth to a child. That womb is forever, it has an appetite to bear the fruit of children. All right? That womb is in a constant thirst to become pregnant and to give birth, to have that desire to produce a child. The barren womb. Thirdly, the earth that is not filled with water. That's the third one. The earth that is not filled with water. So the earth, when it is not filled with water, it says the earth is saying it's never enough. Water, there's never enough water. The earth is always thirsty for more water. The earth will always drink up the water. The earth will always absorb the water that it receives, and then it needs more. It can rain, it can flood. It will drink that water up. Now, if it rains hard enough and fast enough, the water will certainly accumulate very high on the earth. But eventually, the earth will drink it up. So you can have flood waters. The flood can be 15 feet high, but eventually the earth is going to drink the flood waters up. The earth will always say, when it comes to water, it is not enough. And then it says, number 4, the fire saith not, it is enough. The fire would never say, if you ever watch a fire that's burning, it will never say that's enough wood. All right. It'll never say that's enough fuel. If you keep putting wood on the fire, it's going to keep burning. It's going to keep eating that wood up, consuming that wood. Fire is a constant consumption. It never will say that's enough. All right. There is something, or there is nothing that can satisfy the human soul, right? Like the water, spiritual water of God. There is nothing in this life that can satisfy the spiritual thirst that is in the human soul. We need to be connected to God. We need to be connected to God, and we need to be and stay in plugged in, as it were, to Him as our source of life. Because anything else will never satisfy. Houses will never satisfy or quench that thirst. Fine houses, fine cars, fine clothes, money in the bank, the perfect wife, perfect husband, if there's such a thing, never ever will satisfy the thirst that is in the soul. The soul will always, like the earth, the human vessels, and mind you, we are earthen vessels. We're made of the earth. The earthen content that we're made of, it will never, ever say it is enough. No matter how much a person receives, no matter how much they make, no matter how much they have, they always will want more. They will always want more. The thirst is never satisfied. You may get a drink of this, a drink of that, a taste of this, a taste of that. And it may feel good and satisfying, but a moment. But then after a time, the hunger, the thirst is still there. It is not quenched. So that means we will always, down here in the earth, we were designed to thirst for what is in heaven, because what is in heaven is the only thing that can actually quench the thirst and satisfy the soul as God so designed it. So this is why we see even in the New Testament when Jesus is determined to go to Samaria and he sees this woman at the well, his disciples are sent off on an errand, and he tells the woman, give me to drink. He's setting her up so that the conversation can eventually be turned to him telling her she is actually thirsty for what he has. And, so she says, listen, she goes into, let me read some of it. She says, verse 7, there cometh a woman of Samaria to draw water. Jesus said to her, give me to drink. And his disciples had been gone away to the city to buy meat. Then saith the woman of Samaria unto him, how is it that thou, being a Jew, ask drink of me, which am a woman of Samaria? For the Jews have no dealings with the Samaritans. Jesus answered and said unto her, if thou knewest the gift of God. Just think of the water that God comes to bring to the earth, which is what the earth is really craving for, that which is from the heavens. That's a gift of God. If thou knewest the gift of God and who it is that saith to thee, give me to drink, thou would have asked him, and he would have given thee living water. How about that? He would have not given you natural water. He would have given you living water. Why? Because he's God, and God is the what? Fountain of living water. And the woman said to him, sir, thou hast nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. From whence then hast thou that living water? And then another statement is made. Verse 13 says, Jesus answered and said unto her, whosoever drinketh of this water, from where? It's really from heaven. All right? No, excuse me, let me back up. He's going to deal with the earthly water that she's pulling out of the well first. He says, whosoever drinketh of this water shall thirst again. There it is. There's not a satisfaction. There's not, you can drink this water in the earth, going to thirst again. You can fill your belly up with this water. It soon will go through the system. You're going to empty out. You'll be thirsty again. Anytime you drink of the earth, you're of the earth, you're trying to satisfy with things in the earth, it'll never satisfy. The only way the earth and the people of the earth will be satisfied is they have to. They must drink from that which is provided from heaven. They must drink the living water. That's what is needed in the earth, the living water. That's what's coming in these last days on the earth, is the living water. All right? And so Jesus says, whosoever drinketh the water, right, drinketh this water that I am, that I shall give him, shall never thirst. But the water that I shall give him shall be in him a well, all right, a container, a cistern, right, of water springing up into everlasting life. That's why we don't need to be broken cisterns. A broken cistern has forsaken God. A broken cistern is someone who has forsaken the word. A broken cistern has not contained the person of God, the living God in him. God in us, his word in us becomes a well. God in us becomes a well. The word in us becomes a well. And that well is constantly springing up water, living water unto everlasting life. That's what's missing in a lot of people on the earth. They continue to try to find satisfaction in people. They try to quench their desire in circumstances, in things, in money, in houses, cars, in lands. People are constantly trying to satisfy what's in the soul, the craving that's in the soul, the thirst that's in the soul with earthly things. And the only thing that actually, my God in heaven, that gives us that sense of fulfillment, that sense of being satisfied and quenched is when we have the living God on the inside of us, springing up unto everlasting life. Hallelujah.